There are many causes that can lead to a suspension. You want to make sure that you are aware of and following Amazon's terms of service. If you're unsure, ask us first. And this has to do with suspensions. It has to do with performance notifications. It has to do with negative feedback, buyer messages, everything. If you're unsure how to answer it, I would rather you send me a copy of the message and me go through it and tell you how to respond than you respond to it 15 times wrong and then have your account suspended. So definitely, if you need some assistance, let me know and I'll be happy to assist you with that. So some general guidelines are to maintain good receipts. Don't send anything into Amazon that you don't have a receipt for. I promise you those items will get claims. It always happens. Answer your performance notifications immediately. Make sure that you have a system in place so that you can easily answer your performance notifications. So if you use the purchase tracking template, you should be able to search for those items. And then if you're uploading them to the drive or you have them in your email or something like that, then you should be able to answer those. Put them in a cloud-based system so that they're easily accessible. So for example, all of you are here now for the in-office visits. None of you are at home. Some of you are close to home, so it's not too bad. But if you were to get a performance notification, you would have to wait until you got home to answer it. But if you have them in a cloud-based system, you would be able to answer them right now without having to worry about going back home to dig receipts out of a box or something like that. So make sure that they are easily accessible. Don't try to game the system. Amazon will find out. So don't solicit your friends for Amazon reviews. Amazon does have a way of tracking that. They will tell you that they know that you had somebody fill out reviews. Don't forge receipts. Amazon will find out if you forge receipts. So definitely don't try to game the system. Don't get testy with Amazon. They control your livelihood. I know that dealing with Amazon is a pain in the behind. It's aggravating at times. It's frustrating. It's maddening. But don't get smart with them or be disrespectful with them, because at the end of the day, if they want to tie your account up in red tape, they very well can. So it's not worth it just to get a word in edgewise. Send brand new authentic items into Amazon. This is the easiest way to make sure that your items are in new condition. Don't source from China or Alibaba for sourcing. If you're going to do it for your private label product, that's no problem, but don't use Alibaba as a sourcing method. And if you're going to source from China, make sure that they are all authentic items. We've had people that have sourced electronics from China that didn't have serial numbers on them. So then when the person bought it, they said it was an inauthentic item, and then when they sent their receipts, the person that gave them the receipt isn't an authorized distributor, so those are hard to fight. So you want to try and do things on the up and up, so that if anything were to happen, you'd be able to answer those questions easily. So there are several templates in the matrix. I'm going to go through how to find those. Adele, make sure you're paying attention. Got my eye on you. Got my eye on you still. So all of the templates that you need to use to answer messages are in the templates and how-to section. So if you get a safety concern, so a safety concern in most cases is somebody bought something for you and the factory seal wasn't intact or something like that. There is a safety concern template in here somewhere right there. So all you have to do is take the safety concern template, fill out the information that you need to fill out, and send your receipts as well to Amazon. I'm going to get to receipts in a second because that's a whole nother nightmare discussion that I feel like we need to have weekly with everyone present. If you get an inauthentic claim, now there is no inauthentic claim template. There is a seller performance template that I also put a hyphenated inauthentic claims next to it, because whenever I would tell people to use the template, they could never find what the template is. So seller performance template is like kind of your default catch-all template. So if there's something going on, if there's there's a negative feedback, your product has been deactivated, send the seller performance template. If you get an inauthentic claim, send the seller performance template. If you get a negative feedback, send the seller performance template. That is kind of your default go-to. What the seller performance template basically says is that you buy your products in new condition, that you wouldn't sell inauthentic products, that your metrics are flawless, and all of that information. So your seller performance template, when in doubt, send that out. That's right. You're going to remember that too. Watch. When you send it, send your receipts as well. If you get negative feedback, send your receipts. Yep, that's what a lot of people don't realize for your negative feedback. If someone is saying that your product is not a real product or it's a fake, a great way to combat that is by sending your receipts. Yes. Yep, you had it there at one point. Yep, send the receipts. Yep, highlighted, of course. If you send receipts and they're not highlighted, you're wrong. Right. Default, you're wrong. Right. Is it a buyer message? Does it come as a buyer message to your Amazon account, or did it come to your personal email? Okay, so that one, we talked about that one a little bit yesterday, Joanne. So I am a little bit more cautious about these things than some other people are. If it's a buyer message, I would just mark it as spam. Do not response, no response needed. Now I'm gonna get to there. So I would mark it as that and not worry about it, and then report it to Amazon as harassment. But if it is more serious, like they're sending it to your personal email, or they're sending it to your address or something like that, then I wouldn't contact them. I would sell out of those products and maybe hold off until it kind of dies down. That's my advice. Sam would tell you to keep selling. So we have, one of us is more risk adverse than the other. So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, you can send your receipts for that. If you, but not for that. So in that case, just ignore it. Yeah, just ignore it, sell out, don't deal with it anymore. Okay, so the next thing, and with that seller performance template, send your receipts, we'll talk about receipts at the end. If you get an IP claim, now an IP claim is intellectual property claim. Now there are two branches to this. If you made the listing, you'll answer this a little bit differently. If you did not make the listing, you're going to send the intellectual property rights violation template. And in the template it says you did not create the listing, you would not infringe upon someone's personal information, you saw that there was information there, but you can't create a duplicate listing because it's against Amazon's terms of service, and your receipts, once again. So send that information in there. Now, if you created the listing, then it may be because of certain wording in your product page. So that's something to take into consideration. So it can be for multiple things. It can be that you use the image from a website. That is against Amazon's terms of service. That is a violation of that company's intellectual property. So you'd have to take your own original pictures. It could be because of using the brand name in any of the information. Or it could be because you use trademark phrasing in your product description or bullet points. What you will need to do is remove that information, send the intellectual property violations template, change it around to say that you had it in there, you removed it, and now you should be compliant to get that taken care of. I recently helped someone through this process in the last week, so it does work. Yes.
I was selling product bought from the distributor.
Mm-hmm.
Got a call from, got a message about intellectual.
Mm-hmm.
And they put a picture up. And a pair of people were selling on it.
Yep.
Okay. They did not sell clearly.
Yeah.
So that was intellectual violation.
It is, but you have to fight it the right way. So send me a copy of the message, and then in the response that they sent you back, and I'll tell you how to respond. The company isn't going to sell to you anymore. Did they know that you were going to sell it on Amazon before you bought it?
The distributor actually
Okay, because the rep might have allowed you to sell it, but it may have been against company policy.
Right.
So that might have been what the issue was. The next thing is a trademark violation. It's extremely similar to an intellectual property violation. You send the intellectual property rights violation template. You send your receipts. The key is saying that you did not create the listing, the same as the IP claim. All right, some tips real quick. Submit after 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The later the better. That's the sweet spot. That's when the Seattle office closed and they farm it out overseas to the people that aren't as strict. Yep. Email your submission to notice-dispute@amazon.com and open a case. So if you're just responding back via email and not opening a case, you're doing it wrong. And I'll explain to you why. It's easy for Amazon to say that you never emailed them back when you got a message. It's easy for them to say that because maybe the email got deleted or something happened or whatever. But if you also open a case with your Seller Central account, that record is always attached to your account. So whenever you respond to these performance notifications, I always recommend opening a case as well so that it's attached. We had a couple of people get suspended in March because they responded to an email and Amazon said that they never received the email. And this, guys, this is the handout that I just gave you, so it's all in there. Send the original complaint form from Amazon as the body of the message, and then have the template and the receipts be the attachments, okay? Just so they have a reference point when you're sending back your response. Okay, on your receipts, you're gonna highlight the store info, the product name, the quantity, your info if available. So if you're doing OA or wholesale, and then the last four of your credit card. So yesterday we talked about if they ask you for buyer information and you're doing RA, to attach your bank statement with the information highlighted, right? So just keep that in mind. If you respond back and they ask you for buyer information, then do the receipts as well as the bank statement and the template. Now I'm going to show you guys something because it drives me insane and the receipts are killing me slowly but surely. So I'm going to show you guys how to take a picture of a good online receipt. Amazon does not accept order confirmations or shipment confirmations as proof of purchase. So if you're going to buy online, you need to make sure that you do it through an account that you have created. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I created a video in the Facebook group as how to take a screenshot. I'm going to show you what this looks like. So I'm going to go to my account, look at my order history. Just going to pick one of these random orders. And then what I'm going to do once I'm on this page is if you're in Google Chrome, there'll be 3 dots up here, but there's a Chrome extension acting out. I'm going to click print. And then instead of printing this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it. I'm going to save it as a PDF. And then I'm going to click save. I'm going to save it to my documents. And hopefully this is working because the PDF viewer, oh, fantastic. Excellent. So once I have this in a PDF, you can see here goes Boscov's information up here. You can see that it's in my account. It's an itemized statement. It has my address. It has all of my information. So what do I do with this document? Do I then send it to Amazon? No, I highlight it. So how do you highlight on a PDF? Easily. There's a button right here. It's like a little pin button right here. You need to go back. Right up here, there's a pin button. So I click on that, and it gives me a highlighter tool. I click on the highlighter tool, select the color, and then I can go right here on this document and highlight. Right here. I don't have to print this out and highlight and scan it back in there. I can do it right on this document. So guys, please stop killing me with these receipts. Please, please, for the love of everything sacred. So I can highlight the item, the quantity right here. I can highlight the address. I mean, sometimes I have to because you have to make it as easy as possible for you guys. And highlight the store information up here. I just need to get to it. And all of the information that is needed. Then you just click save and just save that file again with the highlights. It's going to ask you, do you want to replace it? Yes, you do. And then that's what you send to Amazon. This document right here. This is what you send. Now you can do the same thing with PDFs of receipts that you've already put into like a cloud system. So if you're keeping your receipts in the cloud, all you have to do is just download them. This same bar up here will come up. You can click on them and highlight your retail receipts and then just save them and send those into Amazon. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to create a Microsoft email address.
For what?
When I go to email PDF file, I have to find it because it must be an email address for Microsoft.
No, no. But why? Like you can't. So let me show you. I think so. Because if you save this to your computer, you might be saving it to the OneDrive, and that might be the issue. So save it to the computer. Yeah, because you put it into OneDrive, so you have to start saving it as a document. Yeah, yeah. I was like, no. I have a Microsoft account because we use Skype in the office, and then I have one because I have a Windows computer, and I only use my Microsoft account for Skype, and to log into my computer, I don't use it for anything else, and I send PDFs and all kinds of things all day long. Yeah, so you just have to, if it asks you to save it, so let me do this again real quick. If it asks you to save it, just click Documents over here and save it to Documents. You may have made your default save location your OneDrive, so that's probably why it's doing that. See if you can mimic what you're getting, and then on our next call, I'll go through it and troubleshoot it. But I think that that's what the issue is. So back to the receipts. Does this make sense to you guys? It's a little bit easier than printing it out and highlighting it, and I don't know what else you guys are doing, but doing that. When you submit the document, you just want to make sure that it's facing the right orientation, so it's not sideways or upside down. As silly as that sounds, the Amazon will reject it for that. You want to make sure that it's clear and not blurry. As silly as it sounds, Amazon will reject it for that. So you just want to make sure that you're sending good receipts. And I already talked about the bank statements, so that's good. If Amazon sends you a performance notification and they ask for the receipts for the last 365 days, they mean it. So if you send one receipt, that's automatic rejection and can get your account suspended. So if you haven't purchased that item a lot in the last 365 days, just make sure that you state that in the template. So I have attached the receipts that reflect the purchase history for the last 365 days. I only purchased it 1 or 2 times. Just put that in the template. And then for IP claims and trademark claims, I'd say that you should try to solve it with Amazon first. You may not even need to reach out to the company because a lot of times that can just be a waste of time because you'll reach out to the company, they'll say, oh, we didn't submit anything to Amazon, have no idea what you're talking about. So if you can get those taken care of through Amazon first, that's the best way to go about doing things. Do you guys have any questions for me about performance notifications and all this good stuff? Uh-huh.
Is Amazon
It's usually Amazon. It's usually caused by a couple of different things. It can be caused by negative feedback saying that your product was fake. It can be caused by a return that a customer made saying that the product was fake. It can be caused by several different things, but it has to do with some kind of complaint that Amazon received about your product.
So it wouldn't be just Amazon on itself.
No, it has to be, yeah. Yes.
Reasons for returns and CMOS Express, do you have any template that we could be proactive instead of the customer asking?
No, and asking the customer to remove.
No, I mean asking to tell them the services are, you know, that,
Yeah.
they would do that. If they could give us a comment.
I have a review template that I made, so you can change that around. Yeah, so ask me for that, and then you can just change it around as needed. Yes.
A lot of them do that just through shipping.
Yeah.
At least we reached out to
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
Highlighted.
Yeah.
I've got to say PDF.
Mhm.
Once you open the PDF, are you opening it opens in Chrome?
It either opens in Chrome or it'll open in Microsoft Edge. You might have Microsoft Edge. Do you have a PC? You have Microsoft Edge. You just don't use it. Yep.
So in order to get to that window and that view of that PDF, when I open it through a certain program, or I just double click on
Just go to your file.
it?
Just go to your file and just double click on it, and it'll open up wherever it's going to open up.
And on that window at the top, that's the options to get tools and tools.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And that is Microsoft Edge.
Yep. You're welcome. Any other questions that you guys have? Oh, I almost forgot the important thing. Duh. It's been a long day. So there are times where Amazon will ask you to send your receipts for the last 365 days. And if you have like 20 receipts, you're like, one, your PDFs together. And I'm getting excited about this, and I don't know why. It tells you I need to get out and do stuff. If you go to ilovepdf.com, you can do a whole bunch of different things with your PDFs. You can merge them. If you have a PDF that you need to split, you can split it. If you have a PDF file that's too big, you can compress it. If you have multiple PDFs and you want to merge it into one, you can. So if Amazon asks for your receipts for the last 365 days and you have a ton of them, what you can do is click this merge PDF, select the PDF files that you want to merge, and it will put them all together as one continuous file. So then you don't have to worry about sending Amazon like 20 separate receipts. And then what you can do is name that file the ASIN and submit that to Amazon, because they won't accept zip files or things like that. So you can do this. It's a really cool tool I came across. I love it now. So excellent. So are there any other questions for me? Do you guys need an end of the day Q&A? Do you have any questions for the whole thing? Yes.
Regarding related to what you talked
Mm-hmm.
about receipts and only sending for items.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people do used items. A lot of people do books.
I don't recommend them.
Books.
Nope.
Even books.
Yep. Counterfeit. My friend who lives in Australia ordered a
Used books, like,
used books. You won't be able to get an authentic receipt for. So that's problem
that's
number
what I'm
one.
asking. So when I see all this thing, like you said, don't watch out.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't watch
So
videos.
selling books on
And,
Amazon, really not
no. Yeah. Not for us and our business model.
really.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of anyone using it.
Oh no. It's suspicious. Counterfeit claims like are crazy. Yep. Yep. Yes. We keep them on the drive. They go into like a file cabinet back in like Gary's office, but I think they eventually get thrown out because if you only need them if it's like the return window, but after the return window has passed, if you have them in the drive, you should be good. Mm-hmm. So if you use a purchase tracking form or a purchase tracking template, like the one that we have in the matrix in the template section, when you buy the items, if you put the information in there, it tracks the ASIN. It also says the store where you bought it from and the date. So if you have the ASIN for the product that you got the claim on, you can just search for it in that purchase tracking template. And then every time that it's on that template, it will highlight it in yellow. And it'll tell you every time you purchase that item. So it says, okay, you bought it from Nike on this date. You bought it from Marshalls on this date. So then what you do is you go to your receipts and you know exactly where to look. So you can say, okay, I bought it on this date from this store. So the way that our drive works, and let me show you real quick, Albana, is we have this folder in our drive for our RA receipts. They're broken up by year. And then they're broken up, let me get another one because in 2015 we didn't have it together apparently. So in 2017 it's broken up by month. So if I click on November, it's then broken up by day. And then it's broken up by store. So if I have the store and I have the date, I can easily find that receipt. Only on the purchase tracking sheet will it come up. We don't keep track of it that minutely. Because all you need to do is if you have it on this receipt, then you should be able to find it. If the UPC is on your purchase tracking template, then you might be able to find it that way, but you would need the information on where you bought it to find it.
But if I don't want to use that machine, I know that I need to check all the receipts.
That's why we recommend having one. Yep. Do you want me to show you what it looks like real quick?
No.
Okay. It's in the template section.
Extra work.
It is extra work. It is. I agree. Do you want to use it for RA? Okay. Because if you're using it for RA, if you already have your buy list, you just have to copy it and paste it on the document. You can have your VAs do. Are there any other questions that you guys have for me?